Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Motor City Riffs podcast. I'm your host, Chuck Bean. Of course, every Sunday night, I'm joined by Screamin' Scott, and we give you a full hour of bands from right here in the Motor City with the podcast, something a little different. That's where I invite one of the bands that we played on the show quite a few times into the studio to chat about the history and where they're going and what it's like to be, at least in this particular instance, the band Gutter Swamp. I'd like to introduce you to some new friends of mine. We'll go around the rooms talking first to the drummer, Bill. Hi, Bill. How you doing?
Good, and yourself?
Absolutely. Matt.
For having us.
Absolutely. We got Matt on guitar.
Yep, that's me. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Matt? Over on, you guys are sharing a mic too, which you'll see in the video is crazy. Sharing one of the other mics here, we've got the other guitarist, Aaron.
How's it going?
How's it going, Aaron? We also got Jabral, right?
Yes, sir.
Jabral on the bass.
Yeah.
And then the vocalist and harmonica player, Mike, hanging out with us with your sweet-ass Better Made t-shirt.
Better get it.
Representing Detroit style. So, you guys are the band Gutter Swamp. You guys have been around for, what, about a year or two?
Couple years, yeah.
And you guys just released an album this year called, was it Swampageddon?
That was the name of the...
That was the release party.
Yeah, the party. This is just a self-titled album.
Self-titled Gutter Swamp. You got about, 8 tracks here? 7 tracks?
8 tracks, yeah.
8 tracks on there. I've been listening to it the last, I'd say the last couple of days, just to make sure I was familiar with the music of the guys that
There's
I'm bringing
3
in.
days you'll never get back. Sorry.
So let's start at the very beginning. How did Gutter Swamp start?
Started off as...
Founding members talk.
Yeah, there's only 2 original members here.
Okay.
So...
Who's the 2 original members we got?
Me and Mike.
Yeah, Aaron
All right,
and myself.
cool. So you started with the guitars and the harmonicas.
Yeah, well, started off... I was in previous bands, and I was booking shows, and I wanted to get back into playing. So I looked around the local scene and saw a bunch of musicians, and I said, well, who do I want to get to know better?
Sure.
And who do I respect musically? And there's 5 guys that stood out, and I hit them all up. And then within a few days, they all replied, yeah, let's do it. And I had areas set up in my garage so we could jam. Originally, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was in a buddy's basement. But from there, we met up, and then within the first 2 jam sessions, or the first jam session,
We had like 5 songs or something like that already.
After the first practice? Wow.
Yeah.
there was bits and pieces of each song. You
Yeah.
know, like nothing complete. But we were
Are
just,
any of the songs on the record songs that you had right from day one?
Like
Yeah.
the first half.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
and
That's awesome.
It all just flowed out, and the names of the songs, they were naming the tracks just to name the riffs and the patterns of everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't have words for them yet. So I took it as a challenge to write the songs to what they already named it as.
So you didn't like rename the song once you had words. You were like, okay, the song is called this. I have to figure out why.
Right. They said this song's called Viceroy Cigar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to write about a Viceroy cigar now.
Interesting.
So,
Fascinating.
right.
So what about the other 3 members of the band here? Where do these guys come in?
First one to leave the original project was our drummer. He got a good gig doing some welding stuff, and it was that choice, keep jamming with the band or provide for the fam.
Sure.
And we gracefully, took that, accepted it. And Bill was at our first garage party we played. It was a Halloween show, and he was like, man, you guys are badass. I like it.
Yeah.
And our guitarist at that time, our other guitarist, he's in a band with Bill, and he said, hey, you want to get on this? And Bill said, if I ever get back behind the drums, it'd be with a band like you guys. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because they were like, they were looking for a new drummer, and I'm like, I think I got somebody. And he goes, who? I go, me. He goes, get the fuck out.
So you, like he said, you went to a show and you saw them. What was going?
We play an annual Halloween party. I'm in M102, and
Okay.
we played it too, and I saw them, and the power went out on them twice, but every song was like, holy.
Yeah.
It was badass. So, yeah, and I came in. And,
So did you know, like from almost from song 1, you're like, I want to be in that band.
yeah, the groove of it was just insane.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
that was cool.
So how about like you? Obviously the other guitars you joined a little bit later. What's that story like?
Well, I was also in another band myself, but Mike and I had worked together on some projects in the past, and he called me up out of the blue. Well, texted out of the blue and was like,
While
hey,
I was driving.
You're not supposed to do that.
Right. Well,
Hey,
I saw him zip past me on the expressway.
want to come by and jam sometime? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then that was basically it.
He didn't tell you that you were possibly auditioning to.
I was tied up, chained into the garage, and left there for weeks at a time without food. Somebody send help. I need the FBI.
And then I'm guessing Jabral, as the bass player, you're the third member that wasn't originally part of the band. What's the story there?
Well, the original bass player, well, they ended up having to, get him together, put him out.
Differences.
Yeah,
Yeah.
differences.
It happens.
However you want to put it, he had to go, but I had to get in.
Nice. Were you playing in other bands when you joined Gutter Swamp?
Oh no, me and Aaron, we used to be in the band way back, a little bit back. So
Cool.
when I heard the spot was open, I was like, yeah, I'm right in with you.
Right.
You know.
So Aaron and Mike, when you guys started, like you said before, Aaron, you guys basically had the skeleton of like 5 songs right off the first thing. Did you guys sit down and talk about like was there like a mission statement of like this is the kind of band we want, or was it literally just like let's jam and see what happens?
Yeah, it was more so let's jam and see what happens. Like when we work on music, we just honestly just play around, and if we like the groove, we just build around it. Like that's why like most of the album don't really sound like the same for each song.
Sure.
It's just more so like, hey, yep, we felt like this on this day, we felt like this on this day, and every time we practice for like a year and a half, it rained. Every time.
Every single time. Wow.
Somebody starts noodling, and
you hear
then
the
somebody
thunder.
else speaks up and goes, "Hey, keep with that noodle."
Yeah.
And then everybody's just once you start building parts, because we're still doing it very similarly, even
Sure.
with the new build. Somebody starts messing around with something. Somebody speaks up and says, "Hey, keep running
playing
with
that."
that."
Yep.
I think I got something,
Yep.
and then they add in, and then everybody else starts piling on. So.
Yeah. So are there any songs that like anybody comes in with like, here, I've got a song and there's like very little to change to it?
Not
or is
yet,
it or
but
is
I'm sure
it mostly
it'll happen sooner or later.
it's mostly like you're saying, it's a lot of like, I got a part. Do you got a part? Yeah, I think this part fits this part. All right, cool. Well, let's see if we can put some drums underneath this and get it whirling.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say, Addicted. I think.
That one was done when I came in. You came in.
Yeah, I want to say that one was done hell of a week. That one was mostly done.
Yeah.
I had got that one mostly, but like basically around.
Were those
like,
both songs that you came in with? Is like, here, I think I got something.
Oh yeah, I was going through some stuff.
Yeah, well,
Hey, this is what I'm working on, and
Right.
they was like, okay. Mike was like, I got it. Write something. Next practice, he already had something. He was like, it's gonna be pretty much the same, but
nice.
basically, oh no.
Why did you not put that on mute?
I don't know.
It's just a phone call. It's fine.
No. My bad.
Rookie.
Dad.
Grounded. No
Damn
better.
it.
So the hook for you guys is definitely the harmonica. Where did that come from?
That came up from our first jam session, actually.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, we need something else with this, because the first song we wrote was Hit the Road, and that opens with a harmonica.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, it needs something, whether it be computer, something. And it was just came to my head. I'm like, just like some fat bluesy riffs going on. Like,
Yeah.
harmonica just rings with that to me. And they're like, well, get one, play it. And I've never played a harmonica before.
So you had no idea what you were doing?
No. So I ordered one online and went to YouTube University, and by the next practice, I had all of that and
A little bit of the
Viceroy cigar.
basics for it.
Right? Yeah, and
Wild.
yeah, it's. I keep it in my back pocket while we play live shows.
Yeah.
I just like bring it out and play it and put it away, and people are just thinking it's a magic trick. Like, where
Like
do you
you're a
get
ma-
it from?
you're a
Where did
magician.
it go? Yeah. So that's pretty cool too.
That's crazy. So when it comes to like, obviously, as you just said with the harmonica, like you kind of had to learn yourself
Yeah.
how that works. Are your vocals kind of the same way, or did you like take any type of training for singing?
Lots of years of alcohol abuse.
Okay.
That was the training that I did.
You can hear it. What about, let's go around the room. What about the rest of you guys? Jabral, did you take lessons to play bass, or is it something you just picked up?
Oh no, I've known Aaron a long time, so being in the band with Aaron is what got me to learn how to play bass a lot better and how I be able to play bass now.
Yeah. What about you, Aaron? Did you take lessons, or is it just like picked up a guitar and figured it out?
I started off playing the violin. I did that from 4th grade until like the 11th. Then it went to playing the keyboards, and then I was like, you know what? I want to go back to the violin, but my brother ended up stealing it and selling it.
All right.
So I was like, you know what? The neck on it was too small anyway. Let's try a guitar. So that's how I ended up just transitioning into that.
How much did learning the violin help you with figuring out the guitar?
Oh, it was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the transition.
Well, yeah, because
easy.
I know for one thing, there's frets, and that makes things way easier.
Way
I don't got to
easier.
guess where an E is. It's right here. Cool.
But it made it like super easy. It translated really well. The only thing I had to work on was like the finger stretching.
Yeah.
Because if you stretch too far on the violin, that's the wrong note.
Right.
You got to really be precise on those things.
Yes.
On the guitar, you got like this much space to like really just wiggle around and play with.
Do you ever get tempted to kind of Jimmy Page it and like get that what do they call it with the cello
no.
or the violin? Get the bow and start no.
Nope.
You've had that. You've done that. It's old.
It'll happen. Don't worry. I'm working on them.
What about you, Matt?
I started taking lessons on an old acoustic guitar when I was like in my early teens.
Yeah.
And then just kind of noodled around since then. And
What was the transition like from playing an acoustic to playing an electric?
it was amazing.
Yeah.
The distortion pedal's your friend. Well, it wasn't even that. It was just that the action was just so terrible on the acoustic.
I'm
because
sure.
my dad is not. It was my dad's guitar.
Yep.
He's not a guitar tech.
I had a very similar.
It was not set up for like optimized playing for anything.
I had a very similar journey with the family acoustic guitar and going like, this is difficult. And then the first time you pick up an electric, it's like, oh, this is what
it's supposed to be.
This
like.
is much better. I like this a whole lot more. And we'll end with Bill. What was your journey like as far as playing the drums?
I was in band in school, like marching band, jazz band, symphonic band, and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's cool. I
Some
liked
of
it.
the best drums I ever played in like jazz band in high
It's
school.
hard, man. You think it's not
Yeah.
just a shuffle. It's hard.
Right, exactly. All right, well, let's go into our first song that we've got here for the podcast. We're starting with the song that starts the whole CD, Viceroy Cigar. Is there anything you guys want to give to the listener before they might possibly experience Viceroy Cigar for the first time?
That's about fast cars and faster women
All right.
and learning how to roll your own cigars.
How much experience do you have with fast cars and faster women?
My wife's listening, so only a little bit.
Only a little. All right, let's do it. This is Viceroy Cigar from the band Gutter Swamp. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Motor City Riffs podcast. All right, we're back with more of the Motor City Riffs podcast. That was Viceroy Cigar from the band Gutter Swamp, who we're talking to for tonight's episode. Guys, how are we feeling after the first part of the podcast?
That was pretty good.
You digging it?
Yeah.
You digging it? Viceroy Cigar is a fantastic song. I think it's before the album had even come out, it's the first song you guys had sent us for Motor City Riffs. And just listening to it in the context of the rest of the album, it's the single. Like, I can tell why it's the first song on the album. I can tell why it's the first song you sent me. Like, it's if this was a record company album, that's the song the record company would be like, yeah, that's the first single. We're putting that on the radio first, kind of thing. Did you guys have that kind of impression about that song when you were putting the CD together and when you were recording?
Sort of, kind of. We knew that was going to be one of the ones.
Yeah.
But we actually thought we wouldn't come off with our best one first.
Yeah.
We thought that was actually the B-side. And then
Really?
that actually took off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess those things happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you were talking, Mike, during the last break about how before Gutter Swamp started, you were booking shows.
Yeah.
Which you told me before you got started that you actually booked my band a few times, which is fascinating. So What was the experience like booking shows and knowing this entire like web of musicians?
He's a promotional genius. That's his key.
But like when you decide you want to have a band, it's almost like getting to do like the NFL draft.
Right.
With musicians, you're like, I know who I know what everyone's strengths and weaknesses are, and I know who I want for what project. Like, what was that process like for you?
It wasn't that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's being in a relationship with 4 other guys.
Oh, 100%.
So it's not just them either. It's their families and it's their friends and all that too.
Right.
And as much as people don't want to admit it, music itself is cliquey.
Oh, yeah, it can be. Absolutely.
If I try to get Bill on this band, maybe XYZ wouldn't like that. And maybe if I got Aaron in this band, maybe XYZ wouldn't like that.
Right.
So if you're looking to try to please everybody, it's not going to happen. So I kind of just put on the blinders. And like I said, who do I not mind being locked in a room with for a few hours a week at least and just jam, have some good times and share some laughs.
Now, you guys, in addition to recording this, you guys have played a mess of shows over the last couple of years, too. Do you have any favorite places in the Motor City that you've played? Any favorite gigs that, maybe, or even some favorite bands that you've gotten to play with? Anybody can jump in on that one.
Well, our CD release show was pretty fun.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Just to get that, how long it took to do the album and everything.
Sure.
It was cool.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but what was the time frame between, like, how long did it take to record, and then how long was it from recording it to releasing it?
It didn't take too long to actually record.
2 full years?
Yeah.
2 years.
But for it to come out and be mixed and stuff.
Yeah. How long were you
out in Clio, and we'd send it, mix it, send it back, and
How long were you guys in the studio recording?
If we were to add up all the time, it'd basically, like, if we were able to do it in a week, we could have got it done in a week.
Right.
But with all like the
But everybody's got jobs and
with
responsibilities and
kids,
stuff, so it's
it
like
took us like, I want to say almost 4 months. Like, it took us about 4 months to get a lot of that stuff just recorded, and then
the mixing obviously takes a bunch of time too.
And then trying to like kind of like build up the audience, the momentum again.
Yeah.
Then the other guitar player leaving. Now we gotta find somebody else, and
Right.
it was just it's a lot.
So where did you guys record the album?
Center Street Productions, or Center Street Recordings, actually, out in Clio.
Okay.
My buddy Ian, he has a barn, like a big garage set up.
Sure.
And we went in there, and he's got a lot of experience with like bluesy rock and stuff like that. And
Sure.
A lot of like full like live session type music.
Yeah.
And we know we're not a polished like hair metal band or like anything that's
Sure.
gonna like sell out arenas. We're pretty gritty and grimy, hence the gutter and the swamp. You know? So we weren't going for that. And working with Ian on previous projects, I liked what he did to that stuff. And I suggested it to these guys, and they listened to some of the previous projects, and they were down with it. And plus, getting the homie discount
That
financially,
always helps.
seeing how we're independently,
not well.
independently,
Right. You're
not wealthy.
Self-funding the album, so
Exactly,
you got to cut what corners you can afford to.
And the feet weren't, the feet picks weren't selling on Feet Finder, so.
Yeah, well, sometimes they do. It's really disappointing when they don't. It's
Right.
like, I thought I had really nice feet. Darn it.
I even drew Miss Piggy on the knuckle, and it just nothing.
Have you tried macaroni?
I have no idea of what you guys are talking about. Fucking lost.
So, Bill, I'm getting the impression that like they've already called you dad once. So you're the senior guy in the band. I'm taking
Why
it.
you gotta do that and put me out on your show?
No, because I want to talk to you about it, because I am also an old man and I feel a
Cool.
kinship
Yeah.
with you as well.
These
What is-
goddamn young whippersnappers.
right? What
and
is
their
it
heavy
like
metal music.
trying to be in a band with a bunch of young bastards that don't understand how this works?
It's fine.
Why we gotta be all that?
We handle it like wrestling. We get them behind the wall and start slamming them into shit.
Right, exactly. What was that you said, Matt?
I said I'm like 2 years younger than you.
That's okay. I used to play with a bass player. Our birthdays.
41.
I'm 49. You're nowhere near me.
You look young for your age.
The bass player in my old band, our birthdays, I think, were like 3 weeks apart. So for like 3 weeks, I could tell him to respect his elders. And then we were the same age again. And I couldn't get away with it anymore.
That's a big difference with our musical influences as well. You know, with the way that the music is written.
Yeah.
Because there's such an age gap difference
Between
with
all of
everybody
us.
that's writing it. Yeah.
Sure.
Because I'm 40. He said you're 41. And these guys are younger too.
32.
That was something I definitely wanted to go around the room and ask everybody. What would you feel like is your influences when it comes to putting to your part in the music of Gutter Swamp? We'll start with Bill.
I listen to a lot of the stuff is rhythmic from being a marching band. Like even when I write a song, every guitar riff is written off of a drum beat.
Yeah.
So I listen to a lot of old rap and like hip hop and stuff like that. Some metal. I actually don't listen to a lot of music, believe it or not. I listen
Really?
to podcasts. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
That's fine. I think once again that's something we connect on is that like his podcast, all day podcasts. What about you, Matt?
I actually wasn't involved with writing any of the songs that are on
But
this
when
album.
you come to your
one
guitar
coming out,
playing,
well, I'll be on the next one for sure. I hope so. This time, I hope so. No, when I mean, a lot of my musical influences when I first started learning how to play guitar, it was like all like 90s grunge, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, you know, that kind of stuff. So I feel like that's you know, it's in there somewhere, even if the things that I'm playing aren't necessarily that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like I kind of feel like I want to bring that vibe, even if it's not necessarily the style that I'm doing. You
Right.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it works at all.
what about you, Aaron?
Uh,
What kind of bands do you feel like influence your playing and your what you bring to the band?
Well, I grew up on like 90s hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, all of that stuff, like Snoop Dogg, like No Limit, and all of that.
I don't have a lot of experience with that. I'll be honest, but I'm of the I'm of the opinion that I don't think there's a lot of guitar in that stuff.
It's not.
So
It's
how does something like Snoop Dogg influence how you play the guitar in Gutter Swamp?
It's more of the rhythms, like so, like it's more of the the bounce.
Yeah.
That's what I like in hip hop music.
The
is
groove, the
bouncing.
vibe.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
like when we find like a certain riff and it like bounce, we just like this. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And next you know we get the smiling.
Yep.
Yeah, we got something.
Yeah, when you know you're locked in.
Mm-hmm.
It's
But
Well, there's the 808s and there's the horns and stuff like that, and there's the strings in hip hop.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So
strings
you
didn't really appeal to me back then though. It was weird. Like strings, even though like I played it, like it was just like nah, I didn't like it here. I don't like it there. But yeah, like you said, the 808s, and like especially like when you go outside and it's almost like 40, 50 people outside, and you hear like somebody trunk rattling.
yeah.
That's what I'm like. Oh yeah, I remember that. That trunk rattling, and I can get a good riff out of that.
Yeah.
the machine gun chugs.
Jabril, do you have any influences as far as your bass playing goes?
I listen to everything.
Yeah.
So, I listen to a lot of metal and a lot of rap. So I'll say like bands like Disturbed, like old school Disturbed.
Sure.
Job for a Cowboy. I like them for sure.
Nice. I know the song that we're about to play in a couple minutes here, Funky Town Road. That's kind of like that's all you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the big bass highlight.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah. But I like funky type of stuff. That's what really got me into wanting to play bass. you
Yeah.
know, like really deep bass lines and just.
Do you play with a pick or do you finger pick?
I play with both. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I might just play with my hands. Sometimes I'll pick up a pick. It depends on how I feel.
Yeah.
But the majority of the time it's with my hands though.
Nice. And Mike, what about you as far as influences?
Started out when I was younger. My parents introduced me to music with bands like the Eagles and Rolling Stones and stuff like that. Classic rock.
I could tell the Eagles' influence in Gutter Swamp. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah. We tried the 5-part harmony, but it wasn't really working
No,
too well.
well.
You know,
Keep working on it. It's fine.
I think we'll get that by album 3.
Yeah.
You know. But besides that, when I started to grow into my own, I was into hip hop and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I started working with a band to do a hip hop rock collab.
Okay.
And then I saw their guy that was doing rock not doing so hot, and I'm like, I'm not really into this. And I I know he sucks. And they're like, well, do better. And so I did better. So I got hired.
Hey, all right.
So
That's the important part to tell somebody they suck, is to be able to do better than they're doing.
yeah, I was cocky at 17, you know, so
Most of us are.
right. And then from there, I really got into like the metalcore stuff early, like Shadows Fall, and well, Trivium's not really. I guess that can be metalcore.
Yeah, a
you
little
know?
bit.
But I was into that, and then Killswitch Engage is huge. That Howard Jones is definitely my idol. Saw that band more live than any other band. Pantera with old project I was in. I really liked that a lot too.
It's interesting to me because listening to you guys, you sound like a pair of bands that aren't quite metal, but do extremely well with metal bands. Like as I'm listening to them, and the two bands that came to mind were Clutch and
Yep.
Corrosion of Conformity.
Yep.
Like there's absolutely, like it's not the full on. Now, Bill, you were working your ass off, especially in that last song, Viceroy Cigar, as far as the double bass pedal is concerned. And you've got great timing on it too, let me say, because I've heard some double bass pedal. What hit the mic there?
Sorry. Yeah, I thought it was lagging actually myself. So thank you.
Right. Well, I've heard some double bass pedal where it's like, you're going faster than you need to be, or you were doing too much work, but you were like you were hitting the notes as they're happening, and it really accentuates the song a lot. But like you guys, there's a clear metal influence. But also, you guys aren't like doing speed metal. You're not trying to cram a million notes into the thing. You like you were saying, Aaron. There's a groove, and you guys are really centered on the groove.
That's
and
what people don't understand
always.
about metal. Metal is not fast. Walk is what, 2 notes, and it's one of the heaviest riffs ever.
Right.
You don't have to be
Because it's
going-
got that
if
groove.
you got no groove, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't care how fast you go, it's shit. Sorry, excuse my language, but
No, it's okay. That's why we do the podcast, so we can swear.
fuck yeah, then.
There you go. Absolutely.
I mean, at this point is when you're apologizing after you've been like, fuck you, fuck this, fuck whatever, for like the past 15, 20 minutes.
I will say there is, if there is a parental advisory explicit content sticker on the album, you guys fucking earned it. Like absolutely. And this is something that I'm curious about because it's something I've thought about when it comes to creating my own music over the years. Is there ever, especially when you're writing the words, Mike, is there ever the thoughts of like, if I drop this F-bomb in this, especially in this chorus, which means I'm gonna have to repeat it, X amount of times, I don't know that this is gonna get any radio play. Is there any thought to the commercial viability of a song when you're writing it, or is it just a matter of like, no, I want the song to be what I want it to be?
I think all the years that I've been doing this, that I haven't received any radio play or any radio friendly commercial, anything.
Yeah.
That's the furthest thing from my mind when I'm writing music.
Which is absolutely fair.
Right. And it's my job to convey what they're putting out musically. So if they're playing sad notes, a sad song, I'm supposed to express that with my lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the punctuation to their sentences.
Sure.
So with me telling the story, if it's hype and I'm supposed to say fuck, I'm gonna get up there and yell fuck.
All right.
You know, just like if it's a hype moment and I expect them to do a squeal or Bill to do an awesome fill, they're both gonna step up and they're gonna do that too.
Yeah.
So that's just me filling my role. You know?
Nice. Well, let's get into the second song you guys brought for me, and this is what is it? Funky Town Road.
Yep.
I think my biggest question about this one before we get into it is, can y'all take me to Funky Town Road?
Yeah.
That we can.
I don't know.
No, nobody was entertained by that dad joke. Nobody.
As probably like one of 2 people in the room who actually knows the lyrics to Funky Town Road, just by virtue of doing the lyric video for it. No, nobody in this room can take you to Funky Town Road.
Well, that's fine. Well, that's what we're looking to do for you guys right now here with Motor City Riffs, the podcast. We're going to play you Gutter Swamp's Funky Town Road, and we'll be back to talk to the guys about where they're headed next. It's Motor City Riffs. All right, we're back with the Motor City Riffs podcast. We're talking to the guys from Gutter Swamp, and the song you just heard is called Funky Town Road. Mike, you were just telling me basically what Funky Town Road is about.
Yeah.
You want to fill the listener in now that they've gotten to experience it?
Yeah, as Matt was alluding, you can check out the lyric video, but Yeah, it's more or less about a adult film star that teaches a young woman the ropes of it and ends up falling for her and ultimately gets his heart broken as well.
Oh, all right. All right. Well, I mentioned earlier after we played Viceroy Cigar that's definitely one of my favorite tracks in the album. The other one has got to be, what is it? Dive Bar Rockstar.
Yeah.
Dive Bar
That's my
Rockstar.
personal favorite.
That is such a great, there's so much music to that phrase alone. And the fact that you repeat it in the chorus is like, yes, like I will remember this song is called Dive Bar Rockstar and I had a good time listening to it.
That's fun. Yes. That was just a fun song.
Yeah.
You know, and that's homage to anybody that works 9 to 5 and then on the weekends gets to go out and play some shows and you dress up as that character.
Hell yeah.
And you fucking own it. You know, for that 20 minutes to 40 minutes you get on stage,
right.
You just own it, you know?
So how much of that goes on with Gutter Swamp? How much of like when you hit the stage, how much of that is you guys kind of getting into a character or how much of it is just being the five of you guys?
I would say 100% for me. I become something different.
Just a different person.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, he does.
Super different.
Now
like,
it's not like Ghost, right? It's not like, let's put some face paint on and some special clothes and
no,
like
it's
let's
just,
play
I would say more like persona is when I'm off stage, I'm like super like, all right, you leave me alone, I leave you alone. If we talk, we talk. It is what it is. But when I'm on stage, I'm like, hey, you're here to look at us. So what I'm going to do is run around here, do whatever I got to do, jump off stage, make sure you get the attention of everybody that you watching, you know?
Yeah.
I want the crowd to remember us. I don't want them to come and be like, well, I spent money here. The bands were okay. No, on our CD release show, I went up on a bar and, played up there.
Yeah.
Time to get it in. That's my look on it.
Man, they're there for a show.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Sure.
If they want to just hear the music, they can put the album on or watch some videos.
Sure
you know,
can.
You're there to entertain. It's more than just playing. You know what I mean?
Anybody else?
I mean, I'm basically the same guy as Aaron in terms of like when we're out, chilling. Like if we have a conversation, cool. Otherwise, I'm just kind of standoffish, wallflower kind of guy. And once it's on stage, I'm running around and
Kinda like
trying to perform. I mean, we're performing.
Yeah. Once you hit the stage, you just kind of turn it up to 11.
Exactly, and that's where it is. So I don't know if it's really a character as much as just like okay, any bit of attention seeking that I ever want to do is all channeled into that moment.
Once the lights are on and the guitar amp is roaring,
right,
look
right,
at me.
and then beyond that, like I'm just kind of like, hey, I'm chilling in the corner and hey, what's up,
So this is a question that I like to pose to every band so far that we've had on here, specifically the singer. Do you help the rest of the band load and unload?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
he's a
the right
great
answer.
help on that.
And I figured I knew the answer because you had mentioned before that like you have booked shows, so you have been around bands long enough to be like, what's this bullshit? The singer's not helping him load up. The drummer's got like 90 different cymbals and stuff to load up, and the singer's just twiddling his thumbs, just having a good time, waiting to sing. Get out of here.
He's usually there first, and he'll be at the back door grabbing drums from him.
Nice. That is the correct answer. That is excellent.
Learn, youngins.
And get the hell off stage quick, too.
Yeah, that always helps.
Don't break down drums on stage.
Yeah.
Just
it off.
just get as much as you can off the stage as fast as you can and break it down later. I like we're of the same mind.
Right.
I dig it. I like to go around the room. This is also another kind of like nerdy musical question, but I like to know what is everybody like how important is gear to each member of the band and what gear are you using? We'll start with you, Mike.
I use the Shure SM58 Beta, but I don't know what it's called because it has like the old school Johnny Cash face around it.
Okay.
I got that for last year for my birthday.
Do you use a specific type of harmonica?
Yeah, that's actually a Fender.
Okay.
And it's in the key of C. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's a C.
How did you?
No, I looked it up what I was supposed to be because we majorly play in drop D and it's supposed to be, one off of that. So
that's what I was going to say. How did you figure out what key the harmonica needed to be in?
I just went on a couple forums and checked it out and saw what other people were doing and went off of that.
So when you use the harmonica, are you just putting it in front of the vocal mic or do you have a specific mic for the harmonica?
No, it's the vocal mic. and I'll just hold it up on there with it, and I'll be moving my face more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, typically you move the harmonica.
Was it the same thing when you guys recorded the album? Did you have to like put because it seems like the harmonica has a little bit more overdrive to it,
Right.
than the vocals do?
Well, that was in mixing.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely in mixing with the harmonica. I used the same mic when I was recording the vocals as well.
Oh, fascinating. All right. What about you? Sorry. What about you, Jabral?
I got a 5-string Ibanez.
Nice. Very cool. What about your amp?
PV.
A PV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the second bass player I've ever known that is into the PV.
Oh yeah, those are old schools.
Yeah.
Those will never go out of style to me.
Do you use any type of effects?
Nope.
Thank God.
Just straight up
Just straight,
5-string.
just straight amp.
What makes the 5-string the bass you want to play as opposed to a 4 or even a 6?
Oh, my bad. I said 5-string.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my bad. I got 6-string.
You got a 6? That is a wide neck,
I was
sir.
waiting for you to catch that. I'm like, it's got 6.
You guys covering Primus sometime soon? What's going on here?
Yeah, I didn't mean to say
So why the 6?
that. More strings.
That means the straight bass strings are expensive.
I know.
That just makes it more expensive.
That's okay.
All right. Aaron, what about you?
I got a Ibanez RG series and a crate half stack.
Oh,
and I just really just plug straight in.
guitarist after my own heart.
Hmm?
Ibanez crate combo. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
I plug straight in, no pedals.
No pedals.
Yeah, no pedals.
Well, you guys, do you ever play clean? Because I think you guys literally just like every song in the album is just full on distortion, man.
Yep.
Just getting that groove.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Matt?
I've got a used Schecter that went through the infamous flood that we had a while back, so
Ooh.
all of the electronics were destroyed.
Oh,
and-
Lord.
But the wood was sealed. It stayed good.
Yeah.
So I
You just changed all the electronics out?
swapped out all the electronics. All the metal came out. I've got the Juggernaut pickups in there. And,
Nice.
beyond that, I do a Boss ME80 where I just use basically just the overdrive,
Yep.
and then I'm going into a crate head with a Marshall cab.
So you guys are both playing crates. Is there a reason for that? Or is it just kind of a happy accident?
Yeah, just a happy accident
Yeah.
where, when you're dealing with metal guitar, there's like 5 standards that you're falling into one of them. So we had a 1 in 5 shot of lining up,
So I'm curious because I used to play through crate amps, and when you buy a crate amp, usually like any amplifier, you buy it and it has a sound and you're like, this sound is great. And somewhere in that first year, the sound changes and it never changes again, but it seemed specific to crate amps. Like crate amps, the sound would change somewhere in the first year, and as long as you like that second sound, you're good for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys have experienced?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
I thought I was just making that up.
No.
I thought I was like, this can't be real. But it happened to a friend of mine, and it happened to me multiple times with multiple crate amps, and I'm like, this is wild.
I noticed it when we were in our other band when we went on the road.
Yeah.
And one show it was like nice and like it was bright and it came through more so clear. Than the next show it was just like dark and muddy, and it was just
You're
like,
like, what happened to my amp?
yeah. I kept looking at it and he's like, bro, like stop, like we gotta finish the. But it was driving me crazy because I'm like, I don't set my stuff up like this.
Right.
And then I got used to
All
it,
the
and it
knobs are
was just-
right where I left them. What is happening?
And then after that, I was just like, I'm gonna just get used to it. But I actually liked it because we ended up dropping down to drop C in the other band, and it
Yeah.
just fit.
Yeah. All right. What about you? Usually the drummers have the most equipment to talk about. What about you, Bill?
No, I don't. I just have Ludwig drum set and Zildjian cymbals. They're actually his.
Yeah.
I have my own set at home, but mine are like, I have the old double bass with the rack toms, and
Sure.
it's just too much shit to be bringing into clubs. It is.
Do
Seriously.
you prefer having all that stuff, or do you? Or
Not
have
now.
you
When I
gotten
was
used
younger, I
to-
did. They get bigger, and I put like my marching band snare from school in it
Yeah.
and every other. Now it's just too much.
Yeah,
You
like
don't need it.
you start downsizing to
Yeah.
like what do I need
Just a 5-piece
to play?
Two
Is there
crash ride
is there a specific? You said 2 crashes and a ride.
and a China and hi hat.
Yeah. Is there a specific reason you went with Zildjian as opposed to any other
Because
symbols?
that's what he had.
Ah!
I normally have Sabian. but that's what Mikey got, so that's what I'm using.
Yeah, I tried to set up our jam session with everything that a band would need.
Yeah.
You know,
so people could just walk in and
Yeah,
play
you
and
can.
So if
let's
they-
see if this works.
If they didn't want to bring gear, if they forgot something, I would
Right.
have it there. You know, so I bought well, I got one guitar and then a bass guitar and then the bass cab, the
drums.
Yeah, the drums and then the Marshall.
I don't know about you guys, but this seems like a pretty sweet deal. Joining Gutter Swamp, like you can just walk in and like play it. You don't got to bring your own for the first couple of days until you're like, okay, I want a sound.
I got to bring my pedals and stick back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't say anything about my wife buying the crystals and stones and stuff, and she don't say nothing about me funding the Gutter Swamp stuff. So
Oh, nice.
works
Excellent.
out.
So have you guys done any touring outside the state?
Not as this project.
Not
no.
yet?
Not yet.
No.
Yeah, not well. Me and him in our last project, but not with this.
Yeah. Is that something you guys are looking to do
Yeah, definitely.
going forward? Like where do you want this band to go?
Everywhere, everywhere.
Sky's the limit?
Yeah. You can't just like limit a place because say like if our dream place is to get say like to California, but like somebody's willing to pay us to come out to Japan, you think we gonna turn that down?
Oh, hell no.
We going to Japan. We
Hell
so
yeah.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
I think like where I want the band to be is to where it pays for itself.
Yeah.
To where we're not sinking money into it out of our own at all. To where it funds itself, whether that be through merch, royalties from streams, and then gigs itself.
Yeah.
Just for it to pay for itself, so we can all just have a hobby that's fun. With previous projects, I said, all right, in 3 years, I'm going to have 3 albums out, and we're going to hit these states. I'm going to put a pin in the map, draw a circle, and we're going to play every club in here until our knuckles bleed.
Yeah.
And we're going to just go. And with those bands, those all fizzled out. With this, like chilled back, jamming with some dudes, having a good time, hitting it on the weekends, whenever we can. This band has had more progress than any of those other ones, I think, because we're just having fun.
And it seems like less effort you've had to put into it too.
So much less.
So much.
effort.
Yeah.
How much of that change in attitude do you think is just maturity?
Yeah, a lot of that's
definitely.
attributed to the kids.
Because I can absolutely remember the desire to be like, I want to play everywhere. I want to make an album every year, and I want to do everything. And then like once you get to your 30s, you're like, I just want to see my friends on the weekend and play some cool tunes. I want to maybe go to the studio again and record another album. That was fun.
Hitting the road, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Hit up a couple, long weekends, maybe a week stride here and there. It'd be cool to make it over to the West Coast, and see some of that.
So you guys are playing Rock for Tots.
Yeah.
It's coming up in a couple weeks. What is it, the 2nd and 3rd? If I remember correctly?
3rd and 4th.
3rd and 4th, yeah.
That's right, 3rd and 4th.
Around
Don't tell
3rd.
Screamin' I got the date wrong. He'd be so upset.
Secret safe.
Is this your first time playing Rock for Tots?
Second. Yeah, we played last year.
So you got to play a Christmas song when you go to Rock for Tots. What's your selection?
We're covering Mr. Grinch.
Mr. Grinch, is that what you guys did last year too?
No, we.
Oh, so you learned a new one this year.
No, last year we didn't have one, so we just said Santa Claus cigar.
Ah, well done.
Thank you.
Well done. I dig that. What do you guys think of the setup with Rock for Tots? How you once again
cool.
with the drums, you just sit down, maybe put your cymbals and your
Yeah,
pedal up
bring
and
your
go.
own pedal because they said they have pedals and they don't. Bring your own.
Right. But then like even with the guitars, like you can, if you want to, you can literally just plug into the amp and go.
Yeah, that's not an option. That's what you do. You plug in and you go.
Backline
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because they have 10-minute changeovers in between
Yep.
acts. So it's you get there, you jam, you get off the stage, get your gear off, and then break down. But everything else around that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like seeing the place full of people that are all festive.
Yep.
And what they're doing it for, bringing all the toys. Was it Goodfellas?
Yep.
Yeah. With them having that on there, that's really awesome. I think last year it was thousands of dollars worth of gifts.
Oh yeah, they
that
always do
got in.
really well for Rock for Tots.
Right. And yeah, we met some really cool bands there last year too.
Yeah.
That one of them, Letters from Abel, they were actually on our album release party because of that show.
I think that's for the bands probably the best part of Rock for Tots is the fact that as long as you're willing to hang out, you will see bands that you'll be like, we should play with those guys. And then you're in such an environment that it's made to foster those relationships, which is really cool.
I was just going to say that showing up and just plugging in is kind of like showing up for practice over for Gutter Swamp.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Whatever makes it easy, man.
Sorry, I'll have to cut this part. Give me a second. My mind is not firing. I had something else that I would.
Derailed him.
No, I lost it. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, Rock for Tots is coming up. You guys are gonna have a good time there. And then are you looking to go back in the studio next year and put some more songs to tape?
Yeah, we're gonna definitely come out with the sophomore album. You know, don't really have a date for it or anything like that, or anything we're really shooting at.
Have you guys already got songs lined up that you've been playing in practice? You're like, oh yeah, this is on the next one.
Definitely. Yeah, we definitely have a few of those ready to go. And that's up there to be changed as well. You know? That whole, if you got to force it, it's probably shit. You know, just like a fart. So
that's what I want to. Brain just fired. That's what I want to. That's all it took was a bad shit joke. Now I know what I was going to ask you guys.
Thank you.
So Matt, you had mentioned earlier putting together the lyric video for the thing. How much of the back end like business side is everybody a part of? Like, do you guys each have a specific strength that you play to as far as that's concerned?
With my other / previous project, I was basically doing all of the recording, mixing, mastering, anything that had to do with video production, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I've since quitting that project, I've started picking up on some of that stuff a little bit more here and there on here, but I feel like Aaron does the vast majority of that side of things, except for when Syndro's doing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do know plenty of bands too where it's like one guy takes care of like the socials, the booking, the everything.
Yeah, that's kind of me.
Yeah.
No, that is you. It's not.
It's you.
It's still a democracy. You know, I'm like, hey guys, how do you feel about this?
Mike,
Right,
you can
he
take care
does
of
talk
this.
to us. He does.
But you're the front man.
Yeah, I bring it up. You know,
Yeah.
I said, hey, what do you guys feel about this? How do you feel about that? And then as a group, we all agree on it. But I'm definitely the one that's trying to make all the moves. I have the most contacts, I think, so I feel that I'm obligated to get out there and keep the ball rolling. You know,
Right.
I reached out to Aaron to get the project started. So between me and him, that's pretty big responsibility to keep it going.
Well, it's going to be really fun to see where you guys go next. I think you guys got a really cool sound. I think you've got, once again, I think the harmonica is a real fun hook for the band. And I think we talked before, there's definitely other bands in the Motor City music scene that I think you guys pair up with really well. And it'll be really interesting to see how that works out, how you guys meet up, how many times you guys end up playing with certain other bands, and what's next for Gutter Swamp.
Let's get on some riff gigs, man.
I'll do what I can.
All right.
Absolutely.
He's like, I can't even get on a fucking riff gig. I ain't getting you.
Look, my band's name is the first one I float out there. Once they shoot that one down, then I'll think about Gutter Swamp.
All right. Well, we'll have like a side show. We'll do a Gutter Swamp show to where it's all the B bands that didn't get on the
There we go.
on the riff gig.
Yeah,
I
we'll
told
see.
you, he's a genius.
We'll see if maybe 2023 we can put together some Motor City Riff shows.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Showcases. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Appreciate it very much.
It's awesome.